Confidence is not a personality trait. It is a skill. It is not a gift bestowed upon a lucky few at birth. It is a code that can be learned, a muscle that can be built, a system that can be installed. For years, you have been sold a lie. The lie is that you must first feel confident before you can act confident. You have been told to wait for inspiration to strike, to wait until you feel ready, to wait until the fear subsides. And so you wait. You wait in the silent, suffocating prison of your own potential. You stand on the sidelines of your own life, watching others take the risks, seize the opportunities, and live the life you dream of, all while telling yourself, "I'm just not a confident person." This audiobook is your key to that prison. It is the demolition crew for the walls of self-doubt that you have allowed to be built around you. We are here to shatter the great lie of confidence, and we will replace it with a single, powerful, and transformative truth. A truth that is the central operating system of every successful, influential, and self-assured person on this planet. It is this: you must fake it until you become it. Now, let's be clear. This is not about being a fraud. It is not about pretending to have skills you don't possess. It is about a profound psychological principle. Action precedes feeling. You do not think your way into a new way of acting. You act your way into a new way of thinking. The 99% are trapped in a feedback loop of paralysis. They feel unconfident, so they don't act. Their inaction prevents them from gaining competence, which reinforces their lack of confidence. It is a vicious, self-perpetuating cycle. We are going to break that cycle. We are going to reverse the polarity. You will learn to act as if you are confident, even when your heart is pounding and your palms are sweating. You will learn to adopt the physiology, the language, and the habits of a confident person. And in doing so, you will send an undeniable signal to your own brain that a change is occurring. Your brain will have no choice but to follow the evidence of your actions. This is the confidence code. It is not a magic pill. It is a blueprint for deliberate, strategic action. It will be uncomfortable. It will require you to be a warrior, to step into the fear, to be willing to be clumsy and imperfect. Most people will not do it. They prefer the comfort of their excuses, but you are not most people. The fact you are listening to this proves you are ready to stop waiting and start building. The code is simple. The work is hard. The results are life-altering. The person you are today is a result of your past actions. The person you will become is a result of the actions you take starting now. Let's get to work. Chapter 1: The Great Confidence Lie. The very first step in breaking out of any prison is to realize you're in one. And for most of your life, you have been living inside a prison of belief built on a single foundational lie. It is the great confidence lie. The lie is that confidence is an innate mystical quality. It's something you either have or you don't have. We talk about it like it's eye color or height, a fixed trait assigned at birth. We see someone who speaks with assurance, who takes risks, who seems comfortable in their own skin, and we tell ourselves a story. They're just a naturally confident person. This story is the most disempowering narrative you could possibly adopt. It is the ultimate excuse. Because if confidence is a natural trait, then you are off the hook. Your lack of confidence isn't your fault. It's just a matter of genetic bad luck. You can resign yourself to a life of hesitation and self-doubt because that's just who you are. This is the comfortable, easy path, and it is the path of the 99%. Today, you abandon that path forever. We are going to replace that lie with the truth. Confidence is not a trait, it is an outcome. It is the natural byproduct of a specific set of actions and beliefs repeated with consistency. It is the effect, not the cause. Nobody is born confident. They become confident. And they become confident through a process. That process is what this audiobook is all about. Think about any skill you have ever learned. Learning to ride a bike, for example. The first time you got on, were you confident? Of course not. You were terrified, you wobbled, you fell. You were clumsy, awkward, and full of doubt. Your internal state was one of pure, unconfident fear, but you did something. You took action in the face of that fear. You got back on. You pushed the pedals. Your actions were those of a bike rider, even though your feelings were those of a terrified beginner. And with every push, every wobbly foot of progress, you gathered a tiny piece of evidence. I can balance for 2 seconds. I made it to the end of the driveway. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, your competence grew. And what followed your competence? Your confidence. You are not confident at riding a bike because you were born that way. You are confident because you put in the reps. You earned it through action. This is the model for everything. The reason you lack confidence in a particular area of your life, public speaking, socializing, starting a business, is not because you lack the confidence gene. It is simply because you have not yet put in enough reps. You are still at the wobbly, falling down stage of the process. The great confidence lie tells you to wait until the wobbly feeling goes away before you start pedaling. This is a recipe for staying on the sidelines forever. The truth is that you must pedal while you are wobbly. The action is the only thing that will ever make the wobbling stop. Another insidious part of this lie is the belief that confident people don't feel fear. We look at a successful entrepreneur giving a keynote speech, and we assume they are fearless. We see someone walk up to an attractive stranger and start a conversation, and we assume they feel no anxiety. This is a complete fantasy. Confident people feel fear just like everyone else. The difference is their relationship with that fear. The unconfident person feels fear and interprets it as a stop sign. This feeling is a signal that I should not proceed. The confident person feels the exact same physiological sensation, but they have learned to interpret it as a green light. Ah, this feeling of fear. This means I am standing at the edge of my comfort zone. This means I am about to grow. They have not eliminated the fear. They have simply stopped letting it be the decision maker. They have put their commitment to action in the driver's seat, and fear is now just a noisy passenger in the back. You must stop idolizing confidence as a magical state of being and start seeing it for what it is, a practical cause and effect system. The system is courageous action leads to competence, and competence leads to authentic confidence. The fake it until you become it mantra is simply a hack to get you to the first step, courageous action. It is a tool to override the paralyzing belief that you need to feel good before you can start. So your first task is a mental one. You must conduct a funeral for your old identity. The identity of the person who is not confident dies today. It was based on a lie, and you are no longer in the business of believing lies. Your new identity is that of a person who is building confidence. You are an apprentice. You are a student. You are a practitioner. This identity gives you permission to be clumsy. It gives you permission to be imperfect. It gives you permission to try and to fail. It removes the pressure of having to be an expert on day one. You are not a fraud for trying. You are a student for practicing. The greatest confidence lie is the one that tells you you're stuck. You are not. You are a work in progress, and the construction begins with the first awkward, terrifying, and absolutely necessary action. Chapter 2: The Action First Principle. We have buried the great confidence lie. We have accepted that confidence is not a feeling to be waited for, but a result to be created. Now we install the new operating system. This is the core logic of the confidence code, the central principle around which everything else revolves. It is the action-first principle. The principle is simple. Your actions will lead your emotions. Your behavior will shape your beliefs. Your physiology will create your psychology. The 99% live their lives according to the opposite principle, the feeling-first principle. Their mantra is, I will act when I feel ready. I will act when I feel motivated. I will act when I feel confident. Because these feelings rarely arrive spontaneously, they live in a state of chronic inaction. Their lives are governed by the unpredictable weather patterns of their moods. The action-first principle liberates you from this tyranny of feeling. It puts you in the driver's seat. Your new mantra is, I will act first and the feelings will follow. You don't wait for motivation. You create it through the act of starting. You don't wait for confidence. You earn it through the evidence of doing. This is not just a motivational platitude. This is a well-documented psychological and neurological phenomenon. When you physically perform an action, you create a feedback loop that sends a powerful signal back to your brain. Your brain, in its constant effort to create a coherent story, will start to adjust your beliefs and feelings to align with your behavior. It asks itself, why is he acting this way? He is standing tall, speaking clearly, and taking on challenges. He must be a confident person. Your brain literally starts to rewire itself to match the evidence of your actions. You are reverse engineering your own identity. Think of a thermostat. A thermostat doesn't just reflect the temperature in a room, it regulates it. If the room is too cold, the thermostat takes an action. It turns on the heat to bring the temperature up to the desired level. Your behavior is your personal thermostat for confidence. If your internal state is one of low confidence, too cold, you don't just sit there and complain about the cold. You take a hot action. You do something a confident person would do. This action turns on your internal furnace, and your emotional state will begin to rise to match the temperature set by your actions. The 99% live with a thermometer. They just read their internal temperature. Yep, still feeling unconfident today. And they accept it as a fixed reality. You will live with a thermostat. You will actively regulate your own internal state through deliberate, conscious action. So, how do we put this principle into practice? It starts with shrinking the action. The biggest obstacle to taking action is that we often make the first step too big. I need to start a business is not an action. It's a terrifyingly large outcome. This is why people get paralyzed. According to the action first principle, your job is to identify the absolute smallest, simplest, most non-threatening first step you can take. Your first step is not start a business. Your first step is spend 15 minutes researching domain names. Or write down 3 potential business ideas. This is an action so small that your fear brain barely has time to object. You are sneaking the action past the guard dogs of your self-doubt. This is the 2-minute rule in practice. Any action that can be started in under 2 minutes should be done immediately. Don't put it on the list. Just do it. Send the email, make the phone call, do the first push-up. This immediate action is a powerful declaration of the action-first principle. It builds a habit of execution, not just intention. Another key is to focus on the process, not the outcome. The unconfident person is obsessed with the outcome. What if I fail? What if it's not perfect? This obsession with results paralyzes them. The practitioner of the action-first principle detaches from the outcome and falls in love with the process. Your job is not to give a perfect presentation. Your job is to stand up and speak for 5 minutes. Your job is not to get a date. Your job is to say hello to one new person. You measure your success by whether you took the action, not by the result of that action. This is crucial. It puts the measure of success entirely within your control. You cannot control whether someone likes your presentation or says yes to a date, but you can always, 100% of the time, control whether you take the action. By defining success as doing the thing, you can guarantee yourself a win every single time. And these wins, as we will see, are the building blocks of real confidence. The action-first principle is your new religion. You must have faith in it, especially in the beginning when it feels the most fake and unnatural. You must trust that the feeling of confidence is not at the beginning of the journey, but is the prize waiting for you at the end of a long series of actions. You don't need to feel confident to start. You just need to be willing to act. The feeling is a lagging indicator. The action is the leading indicator. Focus on the lead measure and the lag measure will take care of itself. Stop waiting for the weather to be perfect. Be the weather. Chapter 3. The Physics of Posture, Your Body as a Belief Engine. Now we move from the philosophical to the physical. The action-first principle is not just about the tasks you do, it's about the very way you carry yourself through the world. Your body is not a passive vehicle that just transports your brain. It is an active participant in the creation of your emotional state. It is a belief engine. The way you hold your body, the posture you adopt, the gestures you make, these are not just reflections of how you feel. They are a powerful cause of how you feel. The 99% allow their feelings to dictate their physiology. When they feel unconfident, they physically shrink. They hunch their shoulders, they look at the ground, they cross their arms, they try to take up as little space as possible. This posture of submission then sends a feedback loop to their brain screaming the message, I am small. I am weak. I am not a threat. This reinforces their feeling of low confidence, creating a downward spiral. You will break this spiral. You will use your body to lead your mind. You will use the physics of posture to engineer the chemistry of confidence. The foundational research in this area comes from social psychologist Amy Cuddy, who demonstrated the powerful effects of what she calls power poses. These are expansive, open postures. Think of a superhero standing with their hands on their hips, or a runner crossing the finish line with their arms raised in a V. Her research found that holding one of these postures for just 2 minutes can significantly change your brain chemistry. It increases levels of testosterone, the hormone associated with dominance and confidence, and decreases levels of cortisol, the primary stress hormone. Think about that. You can literally change your hormonal profile and thus your feelings of confidence and stress simply by changing the way you stand. This is not positive thinking. This is physiological intervention. The principle is simple. Confidence takes up space. Timidity shrinks. Your first practical mission is to become a master of your own posture. You must consciously and deliberately practice occupying more space. When you are standing, stand with your feet shoulder-width apart, creating a solid, grounded base. Pull your shoulders back and down, opening up your chest. Keep your head level, looking straight ahead, not at the floor. When you are sitting in a meeting, don't huddle over the table. Sit back in your chair. Rest your arm on the back of the chair next to you. Place your hands on the table in front of you. Take up your share of the real estate. This will feel incredibly unnatural and arrogant at first. Your old programming will scream at you. Who do you think you are? Don't draw attention to yourself. You must ignore that voice. Remember, you are acting as if. You are embodying the physical form of a confident person. Your brain will eventually catch up. Before any situation that makes you nervous, a job interview, a presentation, a difficult conversation, you must perform a 2-minute ritual. Find a private space like a bathroom stall or an empty office. And for 2 minutes you will hold a power pose. Stand like a superhero. Raise your arms in victory. Stretch out. Take up space. Breathe deeply. It may feel ridiculous, but you are priming your brain and body for confidence. You are walking into that room with a different hormonal signature than the person who spent 2 minutes hunched over their phone, checking their email. This extends to every aspect of your physical presence. Your handshake. The unconfident person offers a weak, limp, dead fish handshake. It signals passivity. You will practice a firm, confident handshake. Web-to-web firm grip, 2 to 3 pumps while making direct eye contact. It is a small thing, but it communicates volumes. Your eye contact. A lack of confidence is broadcast through shifty, avoidant eyes. Looking down or looking away signals submission. You will practice holding steady, comfortable eye contact when you are speaking and listening. It shows you are engaged, you are not intimidated, and you believe in what you are saying. Your movement. The unconfident person fidgets. They tap their feet, they play with their pen, they shift their weight. This is nervous energy leaking out. You will practice stillness. An authoritative person is comfortable with stillness. Their movements are deliberate and purposeful, not anxious and random. All of these are actions. They are physical behaviors you can choose to adopt, regardless of how you are feeling on the inside. You don't need to feel confident to stand up straight. You just need to stand up straight. You don't need to feel confident to offer a firm handshake. You just need to offer a firm handshake. This is the essence of faking it. You are adopting the physical script of a confident person. And just like an actor who rehearses a role long enough, eventually the character becomes a part of them. Your body is your laboratory. It is your practice field. The 99% are oblivious to the powerful messages their bodies are sending. You will become a master of your physical self. You will use your posture, your gestures, and your presence as tools to build the state you desire. Stand like the person you want to become, and you are already halfway there. Chapter 4: The Sound of Certainty, Tuning Your Vocal Instrument. Your body sets the stage, but your voice delivers the script. Just as your posture sends a powerful subconscious signal, the sound of your voice, its tone, its pace, its volume, broadcasts your level of conviction to everyone within earshot. Most people are completely unconscious of how they sound. They speak with a voice that is a direct reflection of their internal state of doubt, and then they wonder why their ideas lack impact. The 99% speak with a voice that actively undermines their own authority. You will learn to treat your voice as a musical instrument, one that you can consciously tune and play to create the sound of certainty. The first and most common vocal sin that destroys confidence is the upward inflection. This is when you make a declarative statement, but you end it with a rising tone, making it sound like a question. I think our best course of action is to focus on the European market. That little upward tilt at the end is a subconscious plea for approval. It says, "Am I right? Do you agree? Please validate me." It strips your statement of all its power. A confident person ends their statements with a downward inflection. It is the sound of finality. It is the sound of a period, not a question mark. I believe our best course of action is to focus on the European market. The statement lands with weight and conviction. It is not a suggestion-seeking consensus. It is a recommendation based on belief. This is a habit that you must ruthlessly eliminate. The first step is awareness. Record yourself speaking. Listen for it. Once you hear it, you can begin to correct it. Practice saying simple statements and consciously forcing your tone to go down at the end. It will feel strange and blunt at first. That's a sign you're doing it right. The second element to master is your pace. Nervousness creates speed. When we are unconfident, we tend to rush our words. We speak quickly, trying to get all our ideas out before we are interrupted or before we lose our train of thought. This rapid-fire delivery signals anxiety to your listeners. It makes you sound frantic and unsure. It also makes your message difficult to process. True confidence is unhurried. An authoritative speaker is calm and deliberate in their packing. They are not afraid of silence. They understand that a well-placed pause can be more powerful than 1,000 words. A pause gives your listeners time to absorb your last point. It gives you time to gather your thoughts. It creates dramatic tension. It signals that you are in complete control of the conversation and the clock. The 99% fill every available space with noise, with filler words like and like. You will replace those filler words with the powerful, confident sound of silence. Practice reading a text out loud and force yourself to speak at half your normal speed. It will feel painfully slow, but when you listen back to the recording, it will sound measured and thoughtful. The third element is volume and resonance. A weak, quiet, or breathy voice signals timidity. It literally lacks presence. It forces others to strain to hear you, and many will simply give up. You are not aiming to be loud or aggressive. You are aiming for a voice that is resonant and projected. A resonant voice is one that is supported by your breath, coming from your diaphragm, not just your throat. It has a fullness and a richness that commands attention. Place your hand on your chest when you speak. A resonant voice will create a slight vibration there. Practice breathing deeply into your belly and speaking on the exhale. This will give your voice a power and a foundation that it previously lacked. Again, this is a physical action. You don't need to feel confident to breathe deeply. You just need to breathe deeply. The action itself will help to create the feeling, as deep breathing also calms the nervous system. These are the mechanics of a confident voice. They are learnable skills. You are faking it by consciously adopting the vocal patterns of a confident person. You are speaking as if you are certain, even when your insides are churning with doubt. And that "as if" is the bridge to reality. Your brain hears your calm, resonant, and deliberate voice, and it receives a powerful message. The message is, everything is under control. We know what we're talking about. The internal feeling will start to align with the external sound you are creating. The 99% let their internal state of doubt dictate the sound of their voice. You will use the sound of your voice to dictate your internal state. Stop speaking like a question. Stop rushing your words. Stop whispering your opinions. Tune your instrument and play the song of certainty. Chapter 5. The Courage to be Clumsy, Embracing Imperfect Action. We have established the action-first principle. We have learned to shape our physiology and our voice. Now we come to the single greatest emotional barrier that prevents people from taking that first step: the fear of looking stupid. The desire to be perfect, to be smooth, to be polished from the very beginning is a killer of confidence. The 99% are trapped in a state of analysis paralysis. They are perpetually getting ready to get ready. They read one more book, they take one more course, they tweak their plan one more time, all in an effort to avoid the one thing that will actually build their confidence: taking clumsy, awkward, imperfect action. You must develop the courage to be clumsy. You must be willing to be a fool. You must embrace the initial phase of incompetence as a non-negotiable rite of passage on the path to mastery and confidence. Think back to any skill you are now confident in. Were you good at it on your first try? Of course not. The master chef once burned the rice. The virtuoso guitarist once couldn't play a single chord. The master negotiator once fumbled through a sales call. The only difference between them and the person who gave up is that they were willing to endure the discomfort of the clumsy phase. The fake it until you become it Philosophy is not about faking perfection. It is about faking the willingness to try. It is about acting as if you are the kind of person who is not afraid to look foolish in the pursuit of growth. Confidence is the residue of experience, and all initial experience is, by its very nature, clumsy. The fear of being clumsy is rooted in our deep-seated need for social approval. We are terrified of being judged. What will they think of me if I fail? What if I stumble over my words? What if my idea is rejected? This focus on the judgment of others is a prison. You must shift your focus from the external opinion to the internal process. Your goal in the beginning is not to be successful. Your goal is to gather data. Every clumsy action is an experiment. You are a scientist in the laboratory of your own life. When an experiment fails, a good scientist doesn't get emotional and quit. They look at the data with curiosity and say, "That's interesting. That approach didn't work. What can I learn from this? What will I try differently next time?" You must adopt this detached, scientific mindset. The clumsy presentation you gave is not a verdict on your self-worth. It is a data point about your public speaking skills. The awkward conversation you started is not a sign that you are a social reject. It is a data point about your communication style. By reframing every action as data collection, you remove the emotional sting of imperfection. You are not failing, you are learning. You are not being judged, you are gathering intelligence. This mindset gives you the freedom to be clumsy. So how do you put this into practice? You set process goals, not outcome goals. An outcome goal is, "I will close this sale." This is not entirely within your control. A process goal is, "I will make 5 sales calls today and stick to my script." This is 100% within your control. You can be clumsy on all 5 calls and have them all end in rejection, but if you made the calls, you have achieved your goal. You have won the day. You have been courageous, and that courageous action, repeated over time, is what will eventually lead you to the competence that creates the outcome you desire. You must also learn to celebrate the courage, not just the result. At the end of the day, you must acknowledge and give yourself credit for every clumsy action you took. "I was terrified to speak up in that meeting, but I did it. My voice shook, but I made my point." This is a massive victory. The 99% would focus on the shaking voice and see it as a failure. You will focus on the act of speaking up and see it as a win. You are rewarding the behavior you want to encourage. The 99% are waiting for the confidence to be perfect. You will find your confidence in the courage to be imperfect. Your mantra must be, "Action, not perfection." You must be willing to put out the V10 of your life, the first draft, the clumsy attempt. Because the only way to get to V20 is to first have the courage to ship V10. Stop waiting to be polished. Stop waiting to be an expert. Give yourself permission to be a beginner. Have the courage to be clumsy. That is where all true confidence is born. Chapter 6: The Evidence Locker, Building Your Case for Competence. You have embraced the action-first principle. You have had the courage to be clumsy. You have taken some small, imperfect actions. Now we come to a crucial step in the confidence code, a step that most people completely neglect. You must become the lawyer for your own success. Your subconscious mind, particularly your inner critic, is a skeptical and hostile jury. For years, it has heard a case presented by the prosecution, the voice of self-doubt, that says you are not good enough, not smart enough, not confident enough. This prosecution has presented years of evidence, your mistakes, your failures, your hesitations. To win this internal trial, you cannot just show up with a new, positive attitude. You must present a better case. You must overwhelm the jury with a mountain of irrefutable, concrete evidence to the contrary. You must build your evidence locker. Your evidence locker is the active, conscious process of collecting and reviewing your own wins, no matter how small. It is the practice of systematically documenting your competence to build a powerful case for your own confidence. The 99% have confidence amnesia. They might do something brave or successful, but by the next day they have forgotten it. Their brain, which has a natural negativity bias, discounts the win and goes right back to focusing on their perceived flaws and failures. Their wins evaporate while their losses stick like glue. You will not allow this to happen. You will become a meticulous curator of your own success. Here is the practical system. Get a physical journal or start a document on your computer. Title it My Evidence Locker. Every single night before you go to sleep, you are to make an entry. In this entry, you will write down at least 3 pieces of evidence from your day that support your new, confident identity. This evidence does not have to be monumental. In fact, it's more powerful if it's small. Why? Because it proves that you can find evidence of your competence even on an average, unsuccessful day. What does this evidence look like? It could be, I was afraid to make that phone call, but I picked up the phone and did it anyway. I wanted to hit the snooze button, but I got up on time. I spoke up in a meeting and shared my idea, even though my voice was shaking. I went to the gym when I felt tired. I received a small compliment on my work and I accepted it without downplaying it. Each of these is a piece of evidence. It is a data point that proves you are the kind of person who takes action, who faces fear, who has discipline. You are building a factual record that directly contradicts the old, false narrative of your inner critic. The act of writing it down is crucial. It takes the fleeting thought and makes it tangible. It forces you to acknowledge your own progress in a way that just thinking about it does not. Over time, your evidence locker becomes an incredibly powerful tool. After a week, you will have over 20 pieces of evidence. After a month, you will have nearly 100. After a year, you will have a volume, a testament to your own growth and courage. On days when you feel low, when your self-doubt is loud, when you've had a setback, and you will have those days, your assignment is to open your evidence locker and read. You will read entry after entry of your own documented resilience and action. You will be representing your case to the jury. It is almost impossible to maintain a state of low self-worth when you are confronted with a mountain of your own documented proof. Your inner critic's arguments will start to sound flimsy and ridiculous in the face of such overwhelming evidence. This is not about arrogance. It is about accuracy. You are simply creating a more balanced and accurate picture of who you are. The old you only focused on the evidence for the prosecution. The new you is a masterful defense attorney, ensuring that every piece of positive evidence is presented to the court. You are creating your own confirmation bias. You are training your brain to start actively looking for evidence of your competence throughout the day. What you focus on expands. By focusing on your wins, you will start to notice more wins. The 99% are professional collectors of their own failures. You will become a professional collector of your own successes. The faking it part of our mantra gets you to take the initial action. The evidence locker is how you start to make it feel real. You are no longer just acting as if. You are gathering the proof that you are actually becoming. Your confidence is no longer a hopeful affirmation. It is a conclusion based on a growing body of hard evidence. Build your case. Document your wins. Your freedom from the tyranny of self-doubt depends on it. Chapter 7: Failure as Fuel. How the Confident Reframes Setbacks. You are taking action. You are building your evidence locker. But inevitably, on your journey of faking it until you become it, you will encounter a powerful and terrifying force. You will fail. You will get rejected. You will make mistakes. You will fall flat on your face. This is the moment of truth. This is where the 99% give up. For the person with a fragile, unearned confidence, failure is a devastating verdict. It is proof. It is the final, undeniable piece of evidence that confirms their deepest fear. I am not good enough. I knew I couldn't do it. They retreat back to their comfort zone, wounded, and vow never to take such a risk again. The truly confident person, the person who is becoming confident through action, has a radically different relationship with failure. They do not see failure as a verdict on their identity. They see it as an education. They see it as a data point. They see it as fuel. This ability to reframe failure is not a natural talent. It is a learned skill, and it is an essential component of the confidence code. You must learn to separate your action from your identity. The action may have failed, but you are not a failure. This is a critical distinction. The 99% merge the two. My business failed, therefore I am a failure. The confident mind creates a space between the event and the self. My business failed. That is an event. It does not define my worth as a person. It is simply a result that I can learn from. This is not just a mental trick. It is a more accurate and useful interpretation of reality. Your worth is inherent. The results of your actions are temporary and variable. Never confuse the two. To cultivate this mindset, you must treat every failure as a tuition payment for your education in success. When you experience a setback, you must resist the urge to get emotional and instead put on your scientist's lab coat. You must perform a failure autopsy. Ask yourself a series of objective, non-judgmental questions. 1. What was I trying to accomplish? 2. What was the outcome? 3. What worked? Even in failure, something usually works. 4. What didn't work? 5. What will I do differently next time? This process transforms a painful emotional event into a valuable intellectual asset. You have extracted a lesson. You have converted the pain into progress. You have turned the failure into fuel for your next attempt. The person who does not do this is doomed to repeat their mistakes. The person who does is guaranteed to grow. Another powerful reframe is to adopt the belief that there is no failure, only feedback. Every no you receive, every rejection, every mistake is simply the universe giving you feedback on your current approach. The feedback is, this isn't working, try something else. The unconfident person takes this feedback personally. The confident person takes it strategically. They are grateful for the feedback because it saves them from continuing down a path that is not working. Rejection is just information. You must also learn to control the story you tell yourself after a failure. Your first automatic response will be the old negative story. I'm terrible at this. You must consciously intercept that story and replace it with a more empowering and accurate one. That was a tough one. This is harder than I thought, and I am proud of myself for having the courage to even try. I learned a lot, and I will be better next time. You are becoming the narrator of your own journey, and you are choosing to narrate it as a hero's journey, filled with challenges and growth, not as a tragedy of incompetence. Part of faking it until you become it is faking the response of a confident person to failure. How would the most confident version of yourself react to this setback? They wouldn't crumble. They wouldn't complain or make excuses. They would take a deep breath, acknowledge the disappointment, and then immediately start thinking about their next move. You must act as if you are that person. By adopting the behavior of resilience, you will start to generate the feeling of resilience. The 99% are terrified of failure, so they take few risks, which guarantees a life of mediocrity. You will learn to see failure not as the enemy of confidence, but as its necessary partner. You cannot have one without the other. Confidence is built on a foundation of survived failures. It is the quiet knowledge that you can get knocked down and get back up again. So go out and fail. I am giving you permission. Seek out rejection. Court the possibility of mistakes. Every failure you survive is another layer of armor, another piece of evidence for your evidence locker under the category, I can handle it. The more you fail, the less you will fear it. And when you stop fearing failure, you will become truly unstoppable. Chapter 8: The Social Mirror: Architecting Your Environment for Belief. You do not build your confidence in a vacuum. You build it in a world full of other people. And those people, whether you realize it or not, are acting as mirrors, constantly reflecting back to you an image of who they think you are. For the person with low confidence, this social mirror is a source of immense anxiety. They are so desperate for a positive reflection that they become chameleons, constantly changing their behavior and suppressing their opinions to get approval. But even more dangerously, the 99% surround themselves with cracked, distorted mirrors. They associate with people who reflect back their own doubts, fears, and limiting beliefs, creating an echo chamber of mediocrity that makes it almost impossible to grow. Part of the fake it until you become it strategy is to consciously and deliberately choose your mirrors. You must become a ruthless architect of your social environment, designing a world that reflects back to you not who you are, but who you are determined to become. The foundational law here is the law of association. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If your 5 closest associates are unconfident, cynical, and risk-averse, their mindset will be your mindset. Their standards will be your standards. When you try to take a courageous action, they will be the first to say, "Are you sure about that? That seems risky. Why don't you just play it safe?" They are not malicious. They are simply trying to keep you safe within the shared comfort zone of the group. But their safety is a cage for your ambition. You must lovingly but firmly begin to distance yourself from the negative mirrors and seek out positive, empowering ones. This is not about being arrogant or better than your old friends. It is about recognizing that you cannot become a confident, high achiever if you are marinating in an environment of doubt. You must actively seek out people who are already playing the game at the level you want to reach. You need to find people whose normal is your stretch goal. When you are in a room with people who are more confident and successful than you are, it has a powerful effect. It recalibrates your own sense of what is possible. Their confidence becomes contagious. Their way of thinking, their vocabulary, their approach to problems, it all starts to seep into you. How do you find these people? You go where they are. Join a mastermind group. Go to industry seminars. Sign up for a high-level course. Hire a coach or a mentor. Yes, this often requires an investment of time and money. The 99% see this as an expense. You will see it as a critical investment in your new identity. You are paying to upgrade your social mirror. Another key part of this is the principle of acting as if in your social interactions. When you are in a new group, you must resist the urge to revert to your old, low-status behaviors. You must embody the confident person you are becoming. This means introducing yourself first. It means asking thoughtful questions. It means sharing your opinions without hedging or apologizing. At first, this will feel terrifying. You will feel liken, but you must hold the frame. By acting as if you belong in that room, you signal to others and, more importantly, to yourself that you do. People will generally accept the frame you provide for them. If you project the energy of a confident, valuable person, they will reflect that back to you. The social mirror will start to show you the image you are choosing to create. You must also be mindful of your digital environment. The social media you consume is a powerful social mirror. If your feed is full of negativity, comparison, and cynicism, it will erode your confidence. You must curate it with the same ruthless intention as your physical peer group. Unfollow every account that makes you feel less than. Follow leaders, thinkers, creators, and people who inspire you and model the kind of confidence you want to build. Turn your social media from a source of anxiety into a curated mentorship program. Faking it until you become it is much easier when you are surrounded by people who already see you as the person you are striving to be. If you are trying to be a confident entrepreneur, but you spend all your time with salaried employees who think starting a business is insane, you are fighting an impossible uphill battle. If you spend your time with other entrepreneurs who are also facing challenges and taking risks, your struggles feel normal, and your ambition feels validated. Your environment is a script. It is constantly giving you lines to say and a role to play. The 99% passively accept the script they are handed. You will become the writer, the director, and the casting agent of your own life. Choose your mirrors carefully. Architect an environment that demands you level up. Surround yourself with a reflection of your future, not your past. Chapter 9. The Language of a Leader. Speaking your confidence into existence. Your words create your world. The language you use, both internally in your self-talk and externally in your conversations, is not just a description of your reality. It is a powerful force that shapes your reality. The 99% speak the language of doubt. Their words are littered with hesitation, uncertainty, and self-deprecation. Their speech is a direct broadcast of their lack of confidence, and it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. To fake it until you become it, you must learn to speak the language of a confident leader long before you feel like one. You must speak your confidence into existence. This begins with the most important conversation you have every day, the one you have with yourself. Your inner critic has had the microphone for too long. It's time to fire that announcer and hire a new one. Your new inner voice is not a cheerleader spouting empty affirmations. It is a coach. A coach acknowledges the challenge but focuses on your capability. The inner critic says, "You're going to fail, you're not good enough." The inner coach says, "This is going to be tough, but you have prepared for this. You have the skills to handle it. Focus on the process and execute." This is not lying to yourself. It is choosing a more empowering and strategically useful interpretation of the facts. You must consciously practice this new self-talk. When you catch yourself in a negative internal loop, you must intercept it and replace it. This is a mental rep. The more you do it, the stronger your inner coach becomes and the weaker your inner critic gets. Now let's turn to your external language. The words you use in conversation are a constant signal of your perceived status and confidence. You must eliminate the language of subordination. Stop using weak, hedging phrases like, "I just wanted to say." This might be a silly question, but "I'm sorry to bother you." These phrases are apologies for your own existence. They immediately put you in a one-down position. You will replace them with direct, confident language. Instead of "I just wanted to say that I think we should consider a new approach," you say, "I have a new approach we should consider." Instead of "sorry to bother you," you say, "Do you have a moment?" You are not being rude. You are being direct. You are communicating that you value your own time and your own contributions. You must also eradicate and filler words as we discussed in Chapter 4, but it goes deeper. You must also change the stories you tell about yourself. When someone asks you what you do or what you're working on, the unconfident person downplays their ambitions. "Oh, I'm just trying to get this little project off the ground." This language dismisses their own efforts. A confident person owns their ambition. "I am building a new platform to solve X problem." They speak about their future goals as if they are an inevitability, not a hopeful wish. This is a powerful part of faking it. You are verbally stepping into the identity you are creating. Another key is to stop over-explaining yourself. When you make a decision or state an opinion, You do not need to provide a 5-minute-long justification for it. Brevity is a sign of confidence. State your position clearly and concisely. If someone asks for more detail, you can provide it. But the unconfident person feels a desperate need to justify their own thoughts, which signals that they are not truly confident in them. You must also learn to accept a compliment. When someone praises your work, the default reaction for the 99% is to deflect or downplay it. Oh, it was nothing. Anyone could have done it. This is an insult to the person giving the compliment, and it reinforces your own sense of unworthiness. The confident response is simple and gracious. Thank you, I appreciate that. That's it. You accept the compliment, you own your success, and you move on. All of these linguistic shifts will feel fake at first. You will feel like in speaking with such directness and conviction. Good. That is the feeling of growth. You are literally pulling your reality forward with your words. You are creating a new script for yourself, and you are rehearsing it in real time. With every confident phrase you utter, you are sending a new signal to the world and to your own subconscious. You are casting a spell with your own words. The 99% let their feelings dictate their language. You will let your language dictate your feelings. Speak like the leader you are becoming, and that leader will begin to emerge. Chapter 10. The Point of No Return. When faking it becomes your reality. We have come to the final stage of our transformation. We have dissected the code. We have implemented the principles. You have been taking action, adopting the physiology of confidence, speaking the language of certainty, building your evidence locker, and reframing your failures. You have been consciously and with great effort faking it. But if you have truly committed to this process, a strange and wonderful thing will have begun to happen. The effort will have started to fade. The feeling of faking it will have started to recede. You will find yourself standing a little taller without thinking about it. You will hear a downward inflection in your voice and realize it was natural. You will handle a setback with a resilience that surprises you. This is the magical moment. This is the point of no return. This is when faking it ceases to be faking, and it simply becomes who you are. This is the process of identity integration. The confidence that you have been building from the outside in has finally met and merged with your internal sense of self. The act has become your reality. It is no longer a costume you put on. It is your skin. How does this happen? It happens through the sheer, overwhelming weight of evidence. You have performed the actions of a confident person so many times that your brain has no choice but to finally accept the new script. It has abandoned the old, tired story of the person who isn't confident because it no longer aligns with the data. The data of your daily actions, your posture, your voice, your survived failures, your documented wins, this data has become undeniable. Your new identity as a confident person is no longer an aspiration. It is a conclusion based on fact. You will know you have reached this point when you stop thinking about confidence altogether. In the beginning, it was a constant, conscious effort. Now it is your default setting. Confidence is no longer the goal, it is the platform from which you operate. You are no longer focused on trying to be confident. You are focused on the new, bigger challenges you can now take on because you are confident. This is the ultimate freedom. The 99% spend their whole lives worrying about their confidence. You have solved that problem. You have cracked the code. And now your energy is liberated to focus on contribution, on creation, on leadership. But this new identity comes with a responsibility. It must be maintained. Confidence is not a destination you arrive at and then stay forever. It is a dynamic state. It is a garden that must be tended. You must continue to take on new challenges that put you at the edge of your comfort zone. The moment you retreat into permanent comfort, the weeds of doubt will begin to grow back. The confident person is not someone who has no fear. They are someone who is in a constant, lifelong process of confronting their fear. Your new identity is not a person who is fearless. It is a person who acts in the face of fear. The faking it until you become it mantra has now evolved. You have become it. Now, your mantra is simply, be it. You are no longer acting as if you are a confident person. You are simply showing up and being the confident person you have built yourself to be. This is the culmination of all your hard work. The clumsy actions, the awkward conversations, the pounding heart, the inner battles, they were all worth it. They were the raw materials you used to sculpt your new self. Look back at the person you were when you started this audiobook. See their hesitation, their doubt, their fear. Have compassion for that person, but know that they are no longer you. You have fundamentally rewired your brain and rebuilt your identity from the ground up, one action at a time. This is not a temporary change. This is a permanent upgrade to your personal operating system. You now have the code. You know that confidence is not a mystery but a formula, and it is a formula you can apply to any new area of your life where you feel doubt. You know that whenever you face a new challenge, the path to mastery is not to wait but to begin. The path is to have the courage to be clumsy. The path is to fake it until you once again become it. This is your superpower. This is the confidence code. You no longer need it because now you are it. The closing. The journey is complete. The code has been transferred. The operating system has been installed. The central truth that action is the genesis of confidence is now a part of you. You started this process with a simple, provocative phrase, fake it until you become it. You now understand that this was never about deception. It was about direction. It was about having the wisdom to let your actions be your guide, to let your body lead your mind, to let your behavior rewrite your beliefs. You have learned that confidence is not a feeling you wait for, but a result you create. It is a structure you build brick by brick with every small act of courage. It is a case you win evidence by evidence in the courtroom of your own mind. The 99% will spend the rest of their lives waiting for the feeling of confidence to magically appear. They will die waiting. You will not. You have chosen a different path. You have chosen the path of the builder, the path of the practitioner, the path of the warrior who is willing to be clumsy in the pursuit of becoming strong. The person you were is a memory. The person you are becoming is a choice you make with every action every single day. The work is not over. It is never over. Life will continue to present you with new challenges, new fears, new opportunities to grow. But you now face them with a different arsenal. You now face them with the quiet, earned, and unshakable knowledge that you can handle it, because you have handled it before. Your evidence locker is full. Your foundation is solid. The voice of the inner coach is now stronger than the whisper of the inner critic. So what is the final instruction? It is to close this audiobook, step into the arena of your life and live the code. Stop thinking about it, start being it. Find the thing that scares you today, the small act of social risk, the tiny step toward a big goal, and do it. Do it clumsily, do it imperfectly, but do it. That is the only thing that has ever mattered. The waiting is over. You are ready. You are the code.